Hello and welcome everyone to Weekend Rental episode 80. We are your gaming and geek culture podcast. My name is Ryan, and as always, I'm joined by Andy.
Hey.
And Nate.
Hello, everyone.
If you enjoy this content, go over and check out all the other wonderful geeky content, articles, podcasts, and more over at ecade.com. All right, fellas. It's that time again. Another Buy Rent Burn episode. I feel like we just did one of these, even though I know it's been several episodes. But for those of you not familiar, this segment of the podcast, Buy Rent Burn, what we do is we pick games generally for a given system. We each pick a game, play them individually, and we'll give our opinions on which one we would buy, rent, or burn. We're throwing the console kind of out the window this go around, and we're just straight going with genre. We're looking at beat 'em ups. So we're going to talk about Captain Commando, Final Fight, and Turtles in Time. I think we should start out talking about Final Fight, maybe. I feel like that's the granddaddy on the list.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's a good choice.
Great game, huge sprites, not the best home ports during that generation. The Last
CD
Guy. Yeah, the CD is good, that's true. But of course, the arcade version is the best, which is the one that I chose to play. Yeah, I mean, this is, I don't know, this was just the first really detailed beat 'em up game where the characters were well defined, ridiculous, massive sprites, food in trash cans as there always is, and
great music.
Great music. And trannies, so.
Also those.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know about this series all that much when I was younger, which is kind of crazy that I figured every arcade had this, but I don't think mine did.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think our local pizza joint for a while had a Final Fight cab. I vaguely remember it. I think the thing that threw me off as a kid was that cabinet in the game has a very distinct art style and look and recognizable characters, but the cover art that they put on the Super NES cartridge didn't remind me of that game at all. So I was like super confused seeing this on shelves as a kid, and I didn't put it together that it was the same game. It wasn't until I went to a random kid's house and he had this game. I was like, oh, what is that? And I popped it in and played and immediately recognized it then, but I think that kind of threw me off. You know, I didn't really put it together for a few years there.
See, and I skipped the arcade. I have never played the arcade until much, much later when I built my own arcade cabinet. I was putting games on that cabinet, and then Final Fight came up, and I didn't actually know, which I should have known, but I didn't know it started as an arcade. So I've only played the SNES version of this. And I played that again later when I started collecting and really getting into like Super Nintendo stuff and all of that. So I kind of have the opposite, and the arcade is fantastic. And I would say that the arcade is typically more superior than, you know,
yeah,
on most of the games that we play, the arcade is always more superior. But yeah, this for what my experience is with this, I think it's great. I mean, I get excited about really any Super Nintendo beat 'em up though. Like that was just the music's always great. The sprites are always really big, and yeah, Final Fight is really fun to play.
It suffers though from that same critical home port flaw though that the original Double Dragon did, where if you rented that with a buddy and you thought you guys were going to go home and co-op Final Fight, damn it, you're disappointed. And that's, yep. I think you could forgive everything else that they did, you know, on that conversion, because I think they put all the effort into making it as close to the true arcade experience from a visual standpoint as possible, but they maybe shouldn't have done that, because I think sacrificing the two-player co-op is kind of where you break the game. I would have taken a little uglier version of that, maybe some smaller sprites if I could have just had a buddy play with me.
Well, I mean, that's the weird part.
That's really like, what the beat 'em ups, you know, you have to play them co-op. You can't, nobody wants to just like the Double Dragon thing. When you're
Right.
just playing by yourself, you're like, all right, this is kind of it's kind of lame. Like, I mean, it's all the same. You gotta co-op that.
And it's just strange to me that if they don't have that in the first place, then why take Guy out, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point. Was there just not enough memory on that because it was an
Yeah.
earlier game? And then yeah,
Or they're-
so when they released Final Fight Guy, because I've never played this, it's expensive for anyone who knows. Did they have a 3-person roster plus 2-player?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never played it myself either.
Okay, or was it literally only Guy and it was still a single player game? Because that's even more perplexing, I think. Yeah, I mean, it's the game that inspired Streets of Rage, and in all reality, it was bested by that series. Because while Streets of Rage is impressive in its own right, it went for the smaller sprites and it had that critical 2-player option. You know?
Yeah. I think Final Fight probably plays better overall, but
Yeah.
the whole package around it, Streets of Rage, just kicks its ass, I think. But
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's a fun game. I love the ending too, and how cheesy that finishes with Guy and the other one like kind of like fighting over the girl, and I don't know, a little slapstick humor at the end.
yeah.
And I also have to appreciate a beat 'em up where the mayor, whose daughter is kidnapped, just like hulks out of his shirt and comes in to like join the brawl. I think that's pretty epic. You could call him the police force, but no, this is a job for one man only.
No. Yeah.
And then we'll keep on with Capcom, I guess. So Captain Commando, I think this is probably the lesser known of all of them. This also got a Super NES port. My first experience with this was in the arcade at a mini mart about 2 miles from where I currently live. It was right down the street from my aunt and uncle's place, and we used to gas up there all the time, and I would run in and throw my dollar in that thing and play it. I loved it. So Captain Commando, for those of you who don't know, was kind of like the Capcom mascot. He was on the back of manuals and a bunch of marketing stuff, and then he finally got his own game here. So you have 4 in the arcade. I can't remember on the Super Nintendo part, but you get 4 playable characters to choose from. You got Captain Commando himself. There's a mummy. There's a ninja, and then there's a baby in a mech suit, which is awesome. And yeah, you just go around and like wreak havoc. It's kind of it's a weird one from Capcom because you could tell that it wasn't their A-list game. They didn't really animate stuff very well. The soundtrack is okay, but there isn't really even any depth to the combat. There's some cool power-ups, like you can grab a mech, you can grab stuff off the ground, but it just feels like it's missing a little bit of maybe polish and care, and it was just kind of put in place to fill out a roster or a release window. I'm not sure.
I really feel that it wasn't even a close, representation of the arcade. I think the big noticeable difference, and it's tough when you play them both. You're comparing the arcade to the Super Nintendo, which we probably shouldn't be doing on a buy rent burn. We should be comparing the games side by side, but it's hard not to when you experience the arcade. And so I think there's some disappointment that jumps in when the colors, it seems darker and it just seems off. It just doesn't seem like it carried over really well. The sound effects on this game were really strange.
Yeah.
It just, like you said, it's just not quite polished. And I think the worst part of it all for me was the controls. And it just, most of the moves are there, but some of them are just almost impossible to do as well. And so I don't know.
But there really, is there even any depth though, like to a combo string or anything? Like I never found one, like even playing the arcade. It just seemed like it was like straight generic punch. Like
no,
I
there's
found
definitely
strategy.
some combos to it.
Is there? Okay.
Yeah.
I must have just sucked.
But again, that's carrying over from the arcade, and then you're trying to do it on a D-pad. It feels weird. It feels off. It just doesn't seem. Yeah, it seems rushed, like a rush project, and they're just trying to tie it into the arcade and jump into that beat 'em up genre on the SNES.
Yeah. I wonder if they were just trying to piggyback off the popularity of Captain Novolin.
Oh,
They just,
for sure. Yeah. This looks kind of like that guy. Let's put this out there. I think one of the things that I love, which I didn't put together until playing it again for Buy Rent Burn here, even though I've played this recently, was it's so stupid that in the second level you are in the history museum and you're clearly in the dinosaur exhibit area and like there's caveman exhibits, but then you fall through the floor, and in the floor under the prehistoric area of the museum live actual cavemen who have just existed ironically underneath this exhibit in the appropriate time. And I'm like, what the heck? It's so dumb. And I can't help but think that fat enemy that breathes fire, like he swigs the whiskey bottle or whatever and blows flames at you. Like, that guy's Danny DeVito to me. Like, every time I see him, I'm just like, yeah, Danny DeVito's here. It's great.
That's pretty good.
And that one's expensive, right? Like, that's another not crazy expensive, but we're looking at nearly 100, I suppose, on Super Nintendo.
It's pricey.
Yeah. Just get that beat 'em up bundle that came out last year. That's got all these. Well,
is that on there?
Yeah, that's what I was playing it on. That and Final Fight. And it's got Knights of the Round, which we probably should have done Knights of the Round instead of TMNT, because it would have been fun to compare 3 Capcoms. Knights of the Round is good.
Yeah.
This one does have 2-player option though.
Yes, that's huge.
So I mean, when you're comparing it to Final Fight, I mean,
well, and then you got to even give it the nod in the arcade version because it's 4-player in the arcade, which
right,
is,
yeah.
Well, I suppose there was a 2-player variant, but a 4-player cab is.
I've only seen
awesome.
the 4-player cab, so so it's already a little bit better than Final Fight in that aspect, where you could actually sit down and play with somebody.
Yeah. Those bosses, though, are just quarter suckers. The first one, like that mid-level boss, is not bad, but by the second and third, you're flying through dollars at that point. I remember getting stuck often because this one eventually came into our local pizza joint too, where I grew up. And like that third boss and where the like panels kind of flip in that Japanese level.
Yep.
That's impossible not to just lose quarters like crazy. You know, one hit cut in half. I mean, that's not fair.
I feel like that was Capcom's objective though, when it came to any development of arcade games, is how can the first level be bearable, and then after that, let's just take all of their money and pay for those machines.
So did the Super Nintendo port maintain the amount of gore? Like, do characters still get cut in half on screen or no?
On the Super Nintendo?
Yeah.
No. Well, I mean, you know, with the like the lack of Nintendo violence, the non-violence stuff, all the blood is gone. So instead, damage is made by blades and with like yellow little star things, I guess.
Sounds lame.
It's not as cool.
No.
Sega would have done it right.
Well, let's move on to the last one here, Turtles in Time, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in Time, which is the 4th Turtles game, I believe.
Probably most iconic.
They do have a Roman... Is it? I don't know. I feel like the arcade is the most, like the first one to me, but this is in that same vein.
I feel like more people talk about this one, though.
Yeah. I don't know. This one hit me weird. You guys are a little bit younger than me because like I had already fallen out of Turtles by the time that this game existed. So like I liked it. I just didn't get into it as much. So it's a Turtles hack and slash from Konami. Great music, great art style for that point in side or 2D gaming. Controls are awesome. The combos are there. Every enemy you can think of. And then just the fact that they got to do in time allowed them to just throw whatever goofy shit at level design that they wanted. So.
Yep. Yeah,
that's the funny part.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's like when I was a kid, you know, my parents gave me a quarter, like 1 credit basically, and you go there. So for most of my childhood, I had no idea that this game actually took you through time. I never understood it because
you
I always died by the second stage, and
that's funny.
Never knew.
Well, that's what, like, see, when you bring that up and like the getting one quarter, like that, one of my childhood scars was I went to this local drive-in. We lived in a small town for a while, and they had the original Turtles arcade cabinet, and I went with a buddy. His mom took us. She gave us each one quarter. We ran over to the Turtles machine. We both put them in. My coin slot was broke, and his worked, and she wouldn't give me she wouldn't give me another quarter. I had to watch him play.
Gosh. How's that even possible? The friend's mom is supposed to be the cool one that's like, "Oh, I'm sorry you lost a quarter. Here's $20."
Yeah.
How did
she's
that
more
happen?
like, get bent, you little shit.
Oh my gosh.
Sad.
Yeah, I would say that this is from, I don't know, just the retro community. I feel like this one gets a lot of conversation, a lot of excitement, and it probably is, some of it has to do with, the Super Nintendo is very popular. So I feel
Turtles are very popular still.
Well, I mean, yeah, Turtles are popular, but when you're looking at, these types of games on systems, I feel like it overshadows the the NES versions and all of those things. I mean, they're fun, but I think more people are interested in that SNES version. But the Sega version, that's the one, right? The Hyperstone Heist or something like that.
We played a little bit of that though, and it's like virtually indistinguishable. I mean, there's different sections, but yeah. I stand by Manhattan Project being the best one because it's the only one that was made specifically for the home, and still my favorite because of that.
But the music, oh my gosh, the music is awesome in this one. So,
and the sound effects, animation. The animation's top notch.
Oh yeah, when you see a guy getting thrown at the screen, that blew my mind.
Yeah,
love that. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why it's still considered one of the best beat 'em ups of all time. I mean, for sure. Konami was at the top of their game.
Yep.
Even if the Turtles maybe weren't as popular as they were when that game, when those early games first came out, that one is great. You guys ever played around like with the alternate color modes on the Super Nintendo version? You can like go, there's an option to change it to like comic or graphic novel, like for the character designs. So I tried it thinking it would be black and white, like the novel. And no, it just like gives them like a different hue. It's almost like two of the turtles are like a lighter green and two of the turtles are a slightly darker green, which is great if you're playing co-op because you can tell who you are easier in the middle of all the shit, but it's a weird choice.
They all have red bands then?
Nope, they didn't do that either.
Oh, okay.
Wow. So it's a strange setting, but I recommend it.
No,
and we got 2 of 3 weekend rental podcasters have this arcade cabinet in their home. So we're fans.
Yeah.
We're fans.
I don't have the cart though. I would like to get the cart.
But I've got it.
I know you. I know you got it.
You want to buy it?
Yep, I will.
Okay, deal.
We'll make a deal. $3.
$3 and a reach around, maybe.
I got you.
That's a pretty expensive reach around still, but
yeah. I got short arms, so.
So now the hard question: which of these would you buy, rent, or burn, or how do you order them? I guess Andy, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, well, my buy is going to be Streets of Rage 2.
Oh, good call, Audible. I like it.
Yeah,
I'm writing in Streets of Rage 2 for the presidential election. So.
Yeah. Actually, for a split second, that threw me off. I was like, wait a second, I didn't play Streets of Rage. What's going on here? I don't remember that on the list.
Yeah. I honestly, I didn't get to, like, I don't even remember anything from Captain Commando, and I didn't really get to play it. So that's going to be my burn. And especially the way you guys talked about it, like, it doesn't seem like it's all that or all where it should be. And so I think I'm going to go Turtles buy just because of nostalgia, and I think it totally holds up. And Final Fight because is going to be my rent, but the CD version.
There you go.
Or, well, arcade
or
definitely
the arcade.
best, but yeah, but home CD.
And you did your burn out of order. You threw me off. I was like, wait, what's your burn?
Sorry.
But
Yeah, my Captain Commando.
Gosh, okay. Nate, how about you?
I don't know. This one's tough for me. I think what should have happened when we started the buy rent burn was you reading the box, the description, and I feel like that would have helped with the decision. I kind of missed that part.
I considered it, but I'm incredibly lazy and I couldn't be bothered to Google search that as we prepared for this podcast. So.
I mean, I'd be open if you made something up on the spot, but
yeah, I don't know that. Yeah, I don't think I'm prepared for that either.
I mean, Hagar's story pretty much wins it, right?
Right.
Said just.
But where did that baby come from? That's what I want to know. And how did he get a mech? And doesn't he smoke a cigar, or am I crazy? I don't know. There's a lot of things going on there. I can't unwrap it.
I think my buy is going to be Turtles in Time. I think that's got to be my buy. It is nostalgic to me. It's a great game. Like you said, Konami was at the top of their game when they were making that. Music, sound effects, enemies flying into the screen, and, you know, I had all the toys. So that is going to be my buy. I think my rent is pretty clear. I'm going to go with Final Fight. I really do like Final Fight, and I think it's a good game. I love the arcade, but I actually don't mind the Super Nintendo version. And I wish it was co-op. That would be fantastic, and I think it would boost it even more. And this is where it was tough for me, because I was like, well, Captain Commando, it was that co-op game. And so that kind of had a couple more stars for me. But I am going to go with Captain Commando as my burn. It didn't translate well to the system, and I feel like it was missing a ton.
Well, we're not rating it on the Super Nintendo, right? It's just like any version.
Well, I played it on the Super Nintendo, so that's what I'm going with. So,
yeah.
Slacker.
No, that I'm playing it proper. That's what's up. I'm playing it the way Buy Rent Burn is intended. So we can't compare arcades. Yeah. Anyways.
It's our show. We can literally do that.
Nobody well, it's my
us.
show too, and I make my own rules, because that's how I roll too. All right, Ryan, so what about you, buddy? Why don't you crap all over my decisions?
Well, it's not my favorite Turtles game. It is without a doubt the most polished and well done beat 'em up in this grouping. So I'm going to go with TMNT. Turtles in Time is excellent. I prefer the more iconic, to me, original, but it's such a good game. Plus, it's got 4-player in the arcade, which is always a plus. The rent is hard for me because as much as I like Final Fight, that home port is so hampered by the fact that it's single player. And honestly, like over the years, Final Fight has just felt more and more vanilla to me. Like it was the blueprint, right? Like it was the solid blueprint for that generation of beat 'em up, but I just don't have a ton of fondness for it anymore. I appreciate it for what it is. So I think I'm going to burn Final Fight, and I am going to rent Captain Commando because I loved this arcade. It disappeared from my memory, and I didn't know it got a Super Nintendo port. I forgot what the game was even called for years until I started collecting again, and then came across it. And I was so excited to rediscover this game. And the fact that it's 4-player, I'm just gonna. I'm not saying it's a better game than Final Fight, but I'm gonna rent it.
But the SNES version is 2-player, not 4-player.
I played the arcade version, and it's excellent.
Giving you crap. We make our own rules here.
Well, I just didn't want you to not give it a fair shake because the arcade version is so much better than that.
Well, I felt like if I'm going to compare them, I'm not going to play one on the arcade, one on the Super Nintendo.
I just went for the arcade ROMs.
I don't know. Sorry. It's the council in me.
Sorry, I didn't know you were going to get so butthurt about my
I'm not butthurt. Just do better next time.
Well, another Byron burn in the books, I guess. Oh, let's move on and talk about some other stuff. I want to talk about some games that I've been playing. There's some things that have been happening in the world too, which we'll get on. We'll get on some other topics, but I want to talk a little bit about a game I just got introduced to. Went down, did our like local meetup for the first time post COVID, or actually mid COVID, mid rise of pucker up and duck down again. COVID. There wasn't a lot of turnout, not surprising, but we went down to replay games. And CJ, we've talked about it before on the podcast. Like you just kind of look to him and like trust what he's going to pick, and he pulls out a Switch copy of Death Road to Canada. And this game is basically zombie apocalypse version of Oregon Trail, and it is multiplayer, and it's a roguelike, which kind of fits Oregon Trail, because I guess maybe Oregon Trail is a roguelike now that I think about it.
Yeah.
So you pop it in. It's got kind of a pseudo 16-bit art style. You actually play out the levels in sort of a hack and slash way, but everything that happens in between is very much Oregon Trail. Like your supplies diminish, you blow a tire, whatever. And what's funny is
you die
can
of
start
diarrhea.
Yeah, exactly. What's funny is like it is up to 3-player, but you only can start with 2 people from the outset. So you have to find another survivor until the third person can come in. So this whole like, can we get a good roll so we can survive long enough to get to a third player? Because sometimes that just doesn't happen. And yeah, it's a goofy ass game. We played maybe 2.5, 3 hours of it. Got pretty far a few times, never really made it to Canada, which sucks. But, as with these games go, like there's just a lot of hilarity in the randomness and the choices you make anyway. But then they went completely off the deep end and super absurd with some of the choices in this game and some of the dialogue. And the best part was we had a roll where we started a new game, obviously 2 of us again. We leave the store we had raided, get back in the car, on to the next one. So then the random sequence of events comes up, and you see a hitchhiker, and they show a picture of this hitchhiker, and it's clearly Jason, like mask, the jumpsuit, everything. And we're like, fuck it, pick him up. We need a third player. So then Jason becomes our third playable character. And then over the subsequent like half hour following that, like he murders everyone else in the car outside of your control. It's just
Didn't
like
see that
blah, blah,
coming.
blah. It's like Jason's super happy. He's like, what happened to Steve? And you're like, oh shit.
Oh my gosh.
So it was just the most ridiculous and funny turn we got in that game. And it's kind of funny too, because they give him a chainsaw and a machete, and like any other character you can equip items and move him around, but he's just like, he is very much meant to be that character. And yeah, it was great. It was super funny. Highly recommend.
So is this
that
a physical copy, or is it only downloaded?
So yeah, it's physical, but it was like a limited run through one of those like Play Asia things.
Oh, sure.
So I think you might be able to get like probably copies on Amazon, but you can get it on, I think, anything digitally for $15. So
Wow.
Okay.
it's a really good, goofy couch co-op game. If you have people who are willing to stick it out, I will warn that I could very much see this being like the game that you would put in with your casual buddy friend, and he'd be like 5 seconds into that and be like, no, we're done. But if you have friends who are a little more open-minded and want to give it a shot, which we did, I think you'll have a lot of laughs. It's pretty tense.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I loved it. I immediately went to searching for a physical copy of it, and I could not. I think I found a PS4 copy, but I was like, I kind of want that on the Switch. So
CJ doesn't have physical copies there?
he has one for his library, but it's not for sale.
Everything's for sale.
Okay. You can go haggle him down then. I'm sure it'll work.
No, you'd have to haggle him up. Like I said, everything's for sale.
Yeah. No, it was fun though. I really liked that game. And then on top of that, I finally got my damn gaming PC back, so I started diving into the Twitch.io bundle. God, like we've talked about, like that is so overwhelming. I like booted into my profile and it's like, look at bundles you've purchased. So I click on my bundle. There's like 59 pages. I'm like, really? So like by the 4th page, I'm like, no, I'm just going to pick like 3 out of these first 4 pages that I think might be all right. And I ended up with a couple shmups. One was good. One was like basically a way better version of, is it Star Commander or whatever the Wing Commander, whatever that movie was. And then I played a little bit of is it Totally Rad? That's that one that was like that Game Boy. No,
NES?
Rad Rayman, whatever. It was the one that was like a Game Boy looking game. It'd come out on the 360.
Oh,
What's this? I forget what that's called. Might be my start menu. Maybe I can save myself on the fly. Let's see. Super Rad Ray Gun. That's what I'm talking about. That's a good game.
Okay.
It's like Mega Man. It was like a homebrew from several years ago. This is a little better version of it. And then I played one. I can't remember the name of it, but it is supposed to be a Zelda ripoff, and it is. And you play as like a school teacher who gets like glitched out of her school, and then everywhere you go in the opening village, they're like Luke is supposed to be the hero of the story, and then you wander aimlessly up screen until you hit the cave. And I laughed to tears because you walk in to the cave. And all it says is dangerous to go all, and it's all written in blood, and the blood trail goes to the decapitated old man in the corner.
oh my gosh.
And then you pick up a package that's wrapped up and it says to Link, and it's his sword.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
so good. I was just in love with it. And that's about as far as I got with that, because that was the end of my experimenting. But that one I'm going to go back and play. I can't remember what the name of that one is, but yeah, that bundle's a nightmare. I'll be honest. And you have to install each game individually.
Yeah, it's
I don't know about
not
that.
like a ROM set where you can jump in for 5 minutes, you know? It's like,
Right. It was work. I had to configure a couple of them. I don't want to do
Yeah.
that. So I think I'm just going to maybe every once in a while I'll peck through that list and grab one or two to try. And it was fun. I'm just glad I finally had the ability to go in and start playing some of those. So
Yeah.
PC.
I took an adventure last weekend. In my game room, I did not play Fortnite this weekend. I did not run solos. Some of it was because Ryan was not interested in playing with me. Still going
no.
strong on
Yep.
that. Really trying. But I decided to go back and kind of reappreciate my NES collection a little bit more. I got all these things hanging on my wall, and I've been playing stupid Fortnite. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to just walk around, look at the games, and figure out which ones that I just really don't know anything about. So I decided to grab a couple of random games and say, I'm going to sit down and put an hour into it. And whatever happens, happens. It could be the world's crappiest game. I'm willing to torture myself just so I can force myself to sit down and play these games. And so, of course, the one that I grabbed was the worst one ever. I ended up grabbing Daydream and Davy.
Oh, that game sucks so bad.
Yeah.
Daydream and Davy. And so I threw it in, the opening screen and the dialogue. I was like, oh, this is
That's the
gonna
most
be
promising part of that entire game, I feel.
Right. This is going to be a bad platformer for sure. And nope, it's like this very Zelda-esque in a way.
Oh, don't
crap.
bring that kind of shame on Zelda.
No, I can't. But that's the only way I can explain it. Was this top-down, well, kind of weird top-down. It wasn't exactly top-down. It's like three-quarter top-down.
No, I forget. Are you searching for like a specific random item in each level? Is that the objective again?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. I
you
played it
are-
once, and that was enough.
You're daydreaming about these bullies that are coming after you, and they could be a Black Knight or, whatever. And so you got to traverse through a maze of different things, which is very obnoxious. The enemies are coming from all different directions, and the hitboxes are stupid. And yours is huge, and that
You have
sucks
no
too.
reach. I just hate
No.
that.
No, and but I committed. I said I'm going to do this for an hour, and I'm going to see if I really do like this game. I don't. I hate it. After an hour, I didn't get past the second level. I kept on like over and over again, and Liam, my son, was sitting next to me, bored out of his mind, and he's like, you can try other games, right? I was like, I know, but I don't want to. I'm gonna prove that some of these games are good, and no, that one beat me. That one That one beat me. So
What was the other one?
I jumped into I'm trying to remember the name
Image
of
Fight.
it. What's that?
Image
Yeah,
Fight? Is that
Image
the one you were
Fight.
texting
Yeah,
me
I
about?
did
Yeah,
Image
Fight is
Fight.
good.
I did that one for a while. That one was really good.
Is that a shooter?
Yeah, it's a shooter. Kind of uncommon. I mean, not expensive, but just uncommon. And one I picked up probably at 50% off sale, and just never played it. And I really wish I would have played it as 2 players. I mean, that's an option. My son was not interested at this point. He's like, if you're grinding out Daydream and Davy, we're not playing this. I'm going back to Fortnite.
Yeah.
And so I played that for a while. Really, really liked it. It's a very interesting game because it's not you die and the game ends. You know what I mean? There's unlimited continues, which is pretty nice and forgiving, but also to the point where you're getting frustrated because you're dying so much that you're just like, fine, one more time, and you're not getting any further. You're just dying in the same spots, and yeah. But that's one worth checking out if no one's looked at that one.
Yeah, that flies under the radar a lot. I
Yep.
feel like a lot of those SNK releases on the NES do, but they're all, for the most part, good.
Yep.
Or at least acceptable.
Yeah, and I think that the NES in general, I mean, a lot of people don't really talk about, the shooters that are on that. I mean, there are a number of shooters, and I think there are a number of good ones too that just get overlooked because they're cheap, the $3-5 ones, whatever. And so there's a part of me that wants to dive into those a little bit more. Some of them are brutal for sure, but
I think they're all pretty brutal, yeah.
I think everyone just thinks of shooters. What's the pinnacle? Well, gun knack, they would say. As far as like that plain shooter.
It's that one that I
game,
bought.
so.
The one that was only in Japan that's really good.
Oh, Rekka? Yeah.
Yeah, Rekka, that's amazing. I mean, that it
That
runs
one's
on that
hard, too.
hardware. Yeah, it's hard as balls.
So that was my weekend. That's what I did. I went back to the retroness, and I liked it. I'm going to do it
man.
again. I'm going to, and I've been playing at work a decent amount. I don't know. I have a NES in my office. I have my mini in my office. Just when things
Yeah,
get
but it's a regular size
stressful.
Nintendo, right?
What's that?
Nothing.
I got you now. Jokes. Hilarious. But yeah, I've been playing I've been getting my coworkers to play Dr. Mario.
Nice.
Like Tetris 2-player. Just those little things, and then
You keep them 6 feet away, though?
yeah, for sure. For
Right.
sure. They're wireless controllers. So
Really? Oh, yeah, I did get those
Yep.
wireless ones, didn't I? Do they work
Yeah.
good?
yeah, they're not too bad.
I have not unboxed mine yet.
They feel super weird in the hand, just
Sure.
because the button,
They're square, right?
AB square, and so
Yeah.
that's a little strange.
Mm.
And then because it's wireless, it has like 2 slots for the battery underneath that stick down a little bit, and so it
Gotcha.
feels a little strange in the hand. But yeah, okay, guys. Anyways, I'll call myself out on that one. Yeah, so played some Super Mario Brothers 3, and just kind of been trying to decompress a little bit more in the office. I know that's probably not normal, but I'm like, man, it's been a crazy afternoon. I'm going to take 30 minutes and try to play through a little bit. So I've been enjoying kind of my retro collection again, which has been fun.
Yeah, that's really cool. I think that's where all of us would like to be. Let's actually play the games that we have.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I'm not shopping. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to flea markets or garage sales. So it's not just, I'm not out seeking the next cart for the collection. I really am. Okay, well, I might as well play them. I'm not going anywhere, doing anything. It's either sit downstairs, watch Deadliest Catch, season 11, still rolling on that.
Wow.
Or, Fortnite. And both of those aren't too appealing lately, so
I have a prediction on Deadliest Catch because I was big into that show too. I think they will continue to air new seasons of Deadliest Catch until one day a boat, the camera crew, and the regular crew all go down, and then that show will end.
Waiting for that to happen.
I think that's going to... Eventually, the numbers are there, right? Like, it has to happen.
Right. If one ship goes down once a year, then then they're running out of ships here. The odds are not in your favor.
Well, and then as a tribute, you have to just, like, helicopter Mark Rowe to sea and just throw him overboard. I mean, to pay homage.
Oh, my gosh. Well, Mark Rowe, it is time to sacrifice you to the sea.
Yep. My last dirty job.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I can't believe that's still going. I had no idea.
I like it. It's just there's so many seasons and so many episodes now that it's bled together to the point where like I could never figure out where it was starting and stopping, and I just kind of fell off of it. But it's good TV.
I really liked, the first like 3 seasons where it really was focused on crab fishing, the dangers of it, kind of learning the ins and outs. And then now it just, I'm on season 11 and it's so dramatic. It's, it almost, they're making it dramatic. The personal lives of everyone, the rivalries between boats. I don't know.
Is that son still co-captaining that boat with that other guy? The son of the guy who died of lung cancer.
Oh, Cornelia Marie. Right?
Yeah, is he still co-captaining that?
I haven't gotten that far yet.
Okay.
So, Josh Harris is his name.
There you go. Yeah,
if our listeners care, Josh Harris.
Oh, they care.
If he's listening to the podcast, Josh Harris, shout out to you, buddy.
Come on the show sometime.
Yeah, we'd love to interview you and talk to you about what's happening in season 33 or whatever it is at this point.
Well, because you're Nate and you bring up Fortnite constantly, there has been an astounding development in Fortnite today.
Yeah, that's been crazy. Actually, so I got home, I read this article about Epic Games battling it out with Apple, and some of it has to do with Apple booting them off of their, what is it called? Their Play Store or iTunes or whatever it is.
Yeah, well, the iOS platform in general, really.
Yeah, kicked out because of basically scalping the price a little bit lower.
So what they were doing was they were allowing you to purchase V-Bucks cheaper directly through them instead of like forcing it through the Apple ecosystem, because Apple gets a cut of all that.
Yep. So it was a 20% discount. So instead of, for the V-Bucks, $9.99, it went down to $7.99. And it has created some tension. And if you jump into Fortnite, which I know you guys won't, but I know all of our listeners will, they put together a video going right after Apple. Like it's really interesting. So Epic put this whole intro video, and it had basically set up as a dictator on a screen telling everybody what they needed to do.
That was the old ad, right? The old 80.
Right, yeah. And then the Fortnite character comes in and throws the hammer at it and walks out.
Yeah.
And so it says, free Fortnite. My son, who doesn't understand any of this stuff, was like, Dad, I think there's an important message that Fortnite is telling us. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're treating Fortnite like God here. We're waiting for a sign here. And so he takes me downstairs and plays it. And you can see just this freaked out look. And he's like, so Fortnite's going away? Who's taking it? What's happening? And I'm like, no, Fortnite's not going away, buddy. Relax. So we just spent a little bit of time explaining it, and then he was like, so I can still play it? Yep. Okay.
Well, and you can still play it on iOS as long as you had it downloaded and they don't patch it.
Right.
So once they updated it, you're screwed. But it's interesting timing because, they're already kind of in the hot seat and getting blasted by Stadia and Microsoft because, again, their iOS, the way they're locking down that ecosystem, that you will never see Xbox, xCloud on iOS as it stands and, their current stance on things. Same with Google Stadia. So they're kind of getting blasted all the way around, but I think it's just hilarious because I don't think Apple can afford not to keep Fortnite on their platform. And I might be wrong, but Epic has to be the bigger entity here by far, right? Like as far as pockets and current worth? Or am I crazy?
I would feel so.
Oh, no, Apple's huge.
Really? You think they're valued at more?
Oh, yeah. Apple is like trillions of dollars.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I guess phones, yeah.
Phones.
I think they have like the most money out of like just cash out of any company in the world or something like that.
Well, then who the fuck cares if you're losing a few bucks on V-Bucks?
It's just it's good timing because their CEO was basically right in front of Congress just 2 weeks ago, I think, because Congress is grilling them about antitrust issues, and
sure, so
they're bringing up this
all that 10-cent shit that Trump is so upset about.
Yeah.
Do you think Epic has a shot at this, or do you think Apple's going to be so stubborn that change isn't going to happen?
I think no matter what, there's no way that Fortnite will not be back on iOS. I can't say the outcome for sure though. Who will cave?
Yeah. Be interesting.
It's just like, where's the line? Because I mean, if you download the Amazon app on Apple, you can just buy straight from Amazon. Apple's not getting 30% of that transactions. Right. So what's the delineation, And
it's a game that literally runs on everything, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but like your profile can be you can throw that around on any version of Fortnite, right? Like I can log in on any of it.
Yep.
Yeah. So couldn't I, in theory, just log into another device, purchase V-Bucks, or do the V-Bucks stay proprietary to the console?
V-Bucks are dedicated to your account.
Then how do they have any ground to stand on then? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could just buy on a console and then whatever, take them into...
I don't know if the mobile ties into
the other stuff.
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
Then. Okay.
Man, if anybody's playing that game on mobile,
it's probably the most.
There's a lot of kids, I'm sure, that are doing it.
Probably the biggest platform.
iPads.
That'd be so hard to play.
The beauty in all this is like I just don't have to give a shit because Fortnite's awful and I'm never gonna play it. So
I knew you were gonna crap on it even more. Just punch a guy when he's down. It's actually I'm not down about it. It's fine.
No, yeah, you got your Xbox, you're all right.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah. I think Android kicked them off pretty quickly after that too. So they're not on Google either now.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Interesting.
You know what else is super interesting?
Tell me.
Is I would say anywhere from a year to 18 months ago, we sat on this very podcast discussing SNK and their ability to just rehash and whore out their properties. And I think we came to the conclusion that, they should really just make a new MVS and just sell that for like $500. Collectors would buy that. Guess what? I just got announced. The MVS X.
This makes me sweaty. This is awesome.
Yeah, it's basically like, it's weird because it's like a bar top arcade, but then they will also sell you a base that basically makes it an arcade 1-up. And the base is $99. I think the unit is like $350, but if you buy them both, you get it for $5 or
$499.99.
Yeah, somehow you get a $50 discount. My math is not good.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about this. I will say I was a little taken aback because when I went onto their website, because this is being made not by like Tomy or Tom, some weird company, it's Unico, which we'd never heard of, or some shit like that. Their website looks just like it did for the Neo Geo X launch. And I'm sitting here looking at my Neo Geo X and just cringing at how poorly that all went. So I'm a little afraid of what's coming out here, but I don't know that I can not buy this. Because I've always wanted an MVS cab.
Have to.
It's got the look. It's got the iconic look. It'll fit in my house But the problem is it costs the same as an MVS, right? Like I could get a multi-cart and a single slot MVS for almost the same.
Yep.
But yeah, 50 games, 99.9% of them are all fighting. You do get your metal slugs. You basically get every game that they've released on every one of these things that they've done in the last few years. It just looks really cool. It looks like the MVS, the iconic arcade.
Is Bust a Move on that?
No. And weirdly, it's 6 buttons instead of 4, which is traditional. So that's strange, but I assume they are thinking forward and people are going to hack it. So I guess the extra buttons are good. What do you guys think? Had you heard about it? Were you interested?
Yeah, it looks really awesome. I kind of like that idea, and I wish that maybe the 1-ups did that as well, like the bar top with the stand, because you can make it look like a regular arcade cabinet with that stand, but also have the flexibility too, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I didn't hear about this until you sent me that text. And I got excited. I think, what did I say right away? I have to have it.
Yeah,
or I'm getting it or something like that. I mean, that setup, that look, those games, that's what I played. That's what I played, when my dad was going back to school. They had just a handful. They had like kind of a lounge with different arcades in there. Simpsons Cab was in there. Great. And then I can't remember what the other one is, but yeah, MVS was there, and it had I think it had like Bust a Move on it, maybe Windjammers, and I can't, obviously Metal Slugs and stuff like that.
Right.
But that was so nostalgic to me. I played that thing all the time, so I kind of have to have it.
You're lucky. The only ones I ever saw were always like Samurai Showdown,
Oh yeah,
Fatal Fury, or King of Fighters on there, and it's just like I'm not all interested in any of those really, but
we had the most random one for a while. It was a 4 slot, and it was like the most random collections of games I've ever seen. It was King of Monsters. That's a good one, but weird choice. And then it was Nom 1977, Bust a Move, and like one other, maybe like a Sengoku. Like it was the weirdest smattering I've ever seen in a single cabinet.
Interesting.
There's always a Metal Slug, but for some reason, not there.
Bust a Move. I got to go play that game. I love that game a lot.
It was really good.
Love it. The music, so catchy.
I like Bust a Move 4 on the Dreamcast a lot.
Never played it. Do you have that one for sale too?
I bought a burned bootleg version of it, and I just bought the actual copy from Chris Kohler at MGC last year. So yeah, if you want my bootleg, go for it. It runs good. The sound glitches out a little bit sometimes, but it'll run fine.
So what are the advancements in Bust a Move?
It's mostly just the visual update. The gameplay is the same, but like the sound is really good in that one.
Yeah.
And the character, like pixels and sprites are really nice. So I just dig the aesthetic on that one. But yeah, you can't really change that formula, right?
I guess same could be said for Tetris, and they've done that a billion times. So
true.
Right.
That just reminded me. Tetris jogged my memory to VR Tetris Effect. Anyone else grab the and since we're talking about Dreamcast, anyone else grab the Space Channel 5 VR print from Limited Run?
No.
I snagged it. I don't know why. They sent me an email and I was like, that's just dumb enough that I got to get it. So that's coming my way at some point, probably a year and a half from now.
Yeah.
I think it was supposed to be bad, right? It wasn't a good game.
I thought it was a bad concept to begin with, but like
Space Michael Jackson is the shit, man. I don't know.
I'm guessing they took him out of this.
I would imagine. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Well, I don't know if you guys have been playing the PlayStation Plus game for this month.
I've been watching some videos on it, and it looks hilarious.
Yeah, my son
haven't looked.
Pretty much addicted.
What is it?
It's a game called Fall Guys, which is It looks like, do you remember Mighty Beans? Isn't that what they were called? Little things you got in uh capsules, capsule
Yeah.
toys, kind of.
It reminds me
They-
of PUBG if PUBG was just those characters in Wipeout. Like,
Yeah,
you know, it's like the weirdest battle royale ever.
yeah. It's basically Wipeout Battle Royale, and it's really taken off. And half the time we play it, we can't get a game in. The servers are always crashing,
Really?
and it definitely has like that whole like Rocket League launch hype to it, I think. But I don't know for
Yeah,
the small
Doctor
amount
Disrespect was playing it even.
yeah, for the small amount of uh time I played it though, I just don't think it has the legs that Rocket League would have.
Is
But
that just because it's the way it's built? It's more about luck than it is skill, or why is that?
yeah, it's definitely a lot of luck, and I'm sure there's like games that are just kind of random. Like there's one, will there be like 5 doors in front of you, and only one of them you can go through. You have to jump through it. The other ones just don't move. So it's just like if you're lucky and you find all these doors, you make it to the end, you know.
Sure.
So it's a lot of that type of stuff, and then obviously there's 40 people right in front of you all times pushing you and grabbing you and stuff. That there's not a lot of skill there, but
So you can rough people up if they're in your way.
a little bit, yeah. It's mostly just tripping over everybody. It's kind of just like a mob that's going through a course, but it's pretty funny, at least. It's enjoyable. I have not
And the
won
price
yet,
is right.
but
So
yeah, right.
have you seen a win? Like, what do you get? Is it winner?
I don't know what they say. They give you a crown, which is like a currency for their their everything's just cosmetic, but that's their high end one. So if you win, you basically get the premium currency. So that's kind of cool.
Nice. I just realized I got another piece to my collection that you guys are going to be super excited about. It's another one of these. This will be the third purchased and not played one of these that I have. Look, I got the mini, the
Oh my
C64
gosh.
mini. I'm never
Did you
going
buy
to
that
use
on
this.
Amazon?
No, GameStop was fire selling them out.
Oh yeah,
$25.
GameStop.
So I was like, I gotta. It looks
It
really
was
cool. The
just
box
in-
and I opened it up. I'm not going to probably use it anytime soon, but I'm going to actually live on the podcast. I'm going to set it over in the corner here next to my Still Box TurboGrafx mini that I have.
Oh no.
My gosh.
There we go. Pile that up. Mission complete. That
You're
was
a
good deal.
monster.
And I actually ordered one other thing that I think was cool. This might have been pre-Nate on the podcast, but we talked about the Ardu Boy and Ardu Venture a while back. Really cool little device, cool creative community around it, bunch of little cheap games you can flash on there. So I got an email. They have a mod chip now, the Ardu FX. You can hold and store like 200 games on there. You don't need to flash your computer every time, and you can just change them on the fly. So yeah, makes it way more usable. It was $9 to just get the chip, $15 to get the chip with 200 games preloaded, or you could buy a whole new one with it already modded. I have never soldered anything in my life, but I spent $15 and I got the chip coming, so I'm going to learn. I think it's like 2 solder points, so I'm pretty sure I can handle this.
That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Did the email say like miss out on the analog pocket? Well, come on over here and buy this.
Yeah, they should have. Remember that weird thing with the crank on it? Yeah, we forgot about that too. Come play Ardu Boy. Yeah, well,
yeah.
boy, we should touch on that. You brought up a good topic there.
Yeah, that sold out almost immediately. And I'm kind of surprised, but
I really thought they would be better at gauging anticipation. And like, I thought it would just be an open pre-order, maybe like the tens of thousands.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised that it was like 15 minutes, I heard.
Yeah.
I can't believe it.
I mean, I didn't think that they would sell a lot of them, and maybe they didn't think so either. So, but apparently.
Clearly. Well, yeah, and they're not, it doesn't come out till like what, next June? I mean, there's
It's a while,
time.
yeah.
Yeah, that's too bad.
They'll probably put out like a cheaper version after that and be
That's
unlimited.
true. I just think like the cartridge slot aspect of that, like getting the adapter to do Game Gear, getting an adapter to do Neo Geo Pocket Color, that would be fun.
Yeah.
Especially since I think the Neo Geo Pocket Color just got like a pretty affordable flash cart, like that's available everywhere now. This would be a good way to experience that library.
Yeah, there's some bust moves on there too.
Yeah, that's a pretty good port of that too. The backlit screen of it, it's even better.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't interested in it really, but I mean, the Neo Geo stuff would be cool. It's just too expensive.
For sure. Well, that's my thing with any of that is like, yeah, it's probably worth it build quality wise what you're getting, but I have a hard time spending that much. Even like paying the 180 I did for the AVS, I felt like was questionable.
Yeah.
And, you know, it would have cost me 500 for like the NT Mini or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you guys, I got a question for you guys. I've been thinking a lot about next gen lately. And I was just going to ask you guys, what first party launch title from Microsoft are you looking forward to on their console this year?
Well, it wasn't Halo to begin with for me, but
well, that was the only one though. Now it's not coming out this year. There isn't one. I think is this the first console launch in history where there's not a first party game?
Yeah, probably.
To launch alongside the console. It wasn't even exclusive to the console to begin with.
Is there any launch games that are for launch? Or are all of them like just like upgrades to current games?
Isn't there some hack and slash thing that's supposed to be coming out for it?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe that was 2021. I don't know. Yeah, God Eater? Or is that PlayStation? No, that's PlayStation 5. Yeah. Right?
It might be both. Yeah, I don't know.
And I just can't believe they delayed it.
I can't believe that if they're going to delay Halo, why wouldn't you just delay the
entire launch, right?
The whole thing, yeah.
And like, I don't know if it had to have been the feedback, right? Based on that, like, first glimpse at Halo, which was pretty underwhelming, I guess, from a technical standpoint.
Yeah, but what do you do? I mean, they're making a new Halo. You know,
I mean, I wanted to look. Yeah, I wanted to look and play like Halo, but it looked, which I'm like super excited about, but it looked and played like the Halo that I played in like my dorm room in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
That's not good for your big launch game. And I guess they're going to put it on 2 systems, so maybe that's part of the reason, but I don't know. It felt half-baked.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that they showed is like, oh, there's a map now. You know, like an open world map. And it was like, that was the big revelation. And a grappling hook, but still.
But yeah, you're now at a point, it was already at the point where there was almost no reason to buy one at launch. There is 0 reason to buy an Xbox this year. The Series X. There's none. Unless you just want to, if they're going to do a day one edition, slap that fucking logo on your console, then great. But you could probably wait a few months because no one's going to buy them anyway.
Yeah. I tried out, they have the xCloud beta.
Oh yeah, you got into that?
Yeah, so if you're Game Pass, you can do it. You just have to download the beta app or whatever for it. You just hook up your Xbox controller to your phone Bluetooth.
Except I have iOS, so I'm screwed.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, can't believe they're not going to figure out a way to do that, I guess, but yeah, it worked pretty good for I don't know, I played like Streets of Rage 4 on there, a couple slow paced games, and then you try and play Forza and it's like I could kind of do it for the most part, but it wouldn't be competitive. I wouldn't be Yeah, I wouldn't be competitive for racing or anything like that or shooting.
So is everything that's available for like console Game Pass available on xCloud beta? Or
It's
the stream?
supposed to be next, like when it launches on the September 15th, I think. Right now, it's just like a smaller subset of games, but
And there will be a store in there too to buy games.
uh, yeah, you can purchase on the. It says purchase on the bottom, but it's really you're just logging in It's the Game Pass app. It's a totally separate app that you go in, so it's pretty much just Game Pass stuff on there.
Does it require your console to be on or linked or any of that, or is it completely
No,
independent?
that's what was crazy. I thought all this xCloud stuff would be like, oh, it's free if you just stream from your console, but no,
Right.
it's they're running their own computer somewhere else, and
See, that's pretty sweet though, because like, how nice would it be to be like, we're on vacation and like, I got my phone with me, kids are asleep, I packed my controller, now I can play Skyrim for a couple hours, you
yep.
know. But I assume I would probably have to buy a different Xbox One controller because that first gen of Xbox Ones didn't have like the Bluetooth stuff, right, or whatever you need.
Oh,
I think they've
don't
upgraded
remember.
that controller. I could be
Okay.
wrong. I might be. There's a good
Yeah.
possibility I'm wrong.
Yeah,
Strong possibility that I'm wrong.
they got some crazy controllers for that, like they're making for it.
Oh, like slot your phone in.
Yeah, like the two sides extend, so it almost makes it look like a Switch, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And there's
It
phones
could be
out
the
there that
Switch
the
killer.
screen is about the size of like a Switch Lite, and
What if they got xCloud on the Switch?
that'd be pretty cool. They talked about it for a while there, right? And then I think he walked it back now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there was like some comment recently about like turns out they're not very interested in that. Like no shit.
I wonder though, he did like an interview in Animal Crossing like a couple
Really?
days ago. Yeah.
That's
Like the head of
pretty
Xbox,
sweet.
which is weird.
Well, they still need to get Master Chief as a DLC character in this last run of Smash, so that better happen.
Yeah. They got Banjo. They should be able to get
It was a waste of a character. I don't know why I bought the damn pass again. I don't know why I did because the last pass sucked.
it's not getting any better with arms.
No, that's when we got. I downloaded it. I'm like, ooh, sweet.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, that's cool. That's actually, I know when we talked about it, I think you and I both kind of thought it was going to require linking to the console, but impressive.
Yeah, why even buy a console? Why another reason not to buy next gen when you just
Question, when you were playing it, were you on your home Wi-Fi or were you on LTE?
I was on Wi-Fi.
Have you
But
tried it on LTE?
no, I haven't. That would be a good question. I bet if once 5G rolls around though, that's going to be just as fast as your home Wi-Fi.
Well, I just got unlimited data because I was getting raked over the coals by Verizon. It turned out like if I signed up for auto billing and then upgraded it, I literally pay $7 more a month for unlimited.
Really? Wow.
So it's super affordable now. It's 4G, but still.
Do they do throttling after a certain amount of data or any of
Probably.
that garbage? Yeah.
But yeah, I've just like not given any shits. I'm like Spotify unlocked, like podcasts download whenever.
We're turning
YouTube
this Wi-Fi router off.
Yeah. So like now I have this like problem where the only thing is like I think they eliminate your use of a hotspot on like the basic plan that I'm on. But I've used my hotspot like literally twice in like the last 4 years ever. The only problem is now I'm back to the problem of just nuking my battery, right? Because fuck, I don't care. Like there's podcasts that are on YouTube, and I'm like, well, I'll just watch like the video. Who cares? I'll listen to the audio.
Yep.
And I got no battery by like 2:00 in the afternoon, which sucks. Craig Skits podcast, everybody, check that one out. I'm liking it.
Yeah.
Talk about an interesting career from that man. Pioneers the early days of gaming content and video content on YouTube. Sells his company. Starts Game Attack. That clearly doesn't go the way he's intending. Quits Game Attack. Goes solo. I don't know, man. He's only got 16,000 subscribers on YouTube, and his Patreon standing is not good right now. Like, I don't know how he's paying the rent. Like the guy, love his content, super nice guy, but
Well, before all that, wasn't he like the basketball and trampoline?
Slam Ball. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in Slam Ball. He's had some really good interviews. His last one was with Danny O'Dwyer, which Danny O'Dwyer in himself is super interesting to listen to, but those two talking together was great.
Huh.
Second one, though, he did Tommy Tallarico, which I can only listen to that man
Wonder
lie
what
through
they
his
were
teeth so
talking
many
about.
times. Yeah, nothing about the Amico at all. It was interesting, though, because on that interview, Tommy was like, yeah, it's funny, apparently he did sound design for Color of Dinosaur. He's like, yeah, that game's like super valuable right now. It's hilarious because like I have a whole box sealed over here. And Craig's like, shut up. He's like, show me. Are they right over there? And he just like walks over. Yeah, sure shit. He's got a fucking full box of factory sealed Color of Dinosaurs.
Wow.
You
want to fund him?
Get those VGA graded right now.
Yeah. Who needed a Kickstarter when he had him right there?
Mm-hmm. Which that isn't coming out till next year now, right? The fabled Amico is not making it. 2021 launch now. Shocker. I don't mean to badmouth Tommy. He's done a lot of good stuff in the industry, but his pipe dream of the Amico is not really going to work out, I don't think. We got a guest. Oh, side conversation. This is important stuff. This is going to make no sense to our listeners on audio, which is all of them because we don't record the video. So, we've done a good job, like not talking too much about COVID this episode, but COVID crushed a massive dream for the Wallen household. Been holding off. We've had our tentative plans for when we were going to Disney World, taking the kids, doing the big Disney World thing. And it was all hinging on waiting until that Nintendo Land Universal opened in 2023. And thanks to COVID and the insolvency of the parent company that controls Universal, they indefinitely postponed a US version of that theme park, crushing the dreams of our children. And from me, mostly, really, I'll be honest. It was a devastating blow.
The Japan one's not open yet either, right?
No, but they've been like leaking footage, and that looks awesome.
Yeah.
That's almost done.
Huh.
But yeah, just to not even delay it, just say like, no, like it's kind of off the table. That sucks.
It's going to be a while until those type of businesses like start soaring again.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and it's going to be a while before I would want to go. But I mean,
Right.
Hopefully our tentative goal of 2023 would have been just fine, but I guess that's not happening. Maybe I'll just get a Halloween costume and slap my kids around a little and pretend it's a theme park.
I think the Avatar world will be open by then. You can go to that.
Oh gosh, I can't believe that they invested all that in Avatar. So that's coming out next year in theory too, right? Like the sequel, like 11 or 12 years in.
Yeah.
Gosh.
And like one every year after that, I think. Like they're filming them like all at the same time.
Way to capitalize on the momentum you had from that many years ago. In TV news, though, did anyone, well, not TV, Netflix news, did anybody else watch season 2 Umbrella Academy?
I haven't started it yet.
Oh, so good. So good, guys. It might be one of my favorite things that Netflix has ever done. You know, the first one was really good, but they spent a lot of time building up the characters and the backstory. And this one is just awesome because you go in, you know what every character is about. It's just tons of action, ridiculous, funny, gory. It hits all the same notes, but I think it's a lot better. I loved it. And Klaus is still awesome. Still my favorite character. He's the like most lovable gay drug addict in any show I've ever watched.
They don't. Do they focus as much on the girl this time?
Yeah, so she still is sort of that central ticking time bomb.
Okay.
She actually develops much better as a character in this go around, but yeah, she's still an integral plot point. I don't want to spoil anything. There's a lot of cool stuff, but it's real good. There's a fish that smokes. Just gonna say that. It's pretty cool. You can figure out the logistics, but I appreciated it.
For whatever reason, I feel like the fish on the tuna can, the old tuna cans.
Oh yeah,
He looks like a dude that would smoke.
yeah.
Oh, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, guarantee. He was right up there with Camel Joe.
Trying
Yeah,
to
I can
get
actually
into
see-
tuna.
Yeah, where was that? Where was that billboard with those two shooting pool together? I want to see
Right.
that.
Marlboro Man, all of them. Just
Gosh,
Eat
how long
more
has Camel
tuna,
Joe been
kids.
gone
Eat
now? I
more
forgot
tuna.
about him. They kept him up to the 2000s, right?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know
Might
if he
have been
made it that
90s.
far.
Late 90s?
Late 90s for
Oh.
sure, right? Talk about a brand that just like went for kids.
Didn't he just have cancer? Like I'm pretty sure I don't know. I don't want to call it out.
The
but
the animated character had cancer?
no, the Marlboro Man himself.
Oh.
had
Probably,
Yeah,
right?
had cancer, right? I can't remember.
I think one of the guys that played him did
Maybe.
an ad against him.
Yeah,
Yeah. 97 was the last time.
97.
crazy.
I remember seeing Camel Joe everywhere,
Of course you
On
did as a kid, because that's who they
everything.
were targeting, right?
Yeah.
and I could just grab quarters and go to a vending machine and get a pack.
Yep, and you'd go to the Ben Franklin, you'd walk in, you get your pack of candy cigarettes. They were
Heck
selling
yeah.
to kids, which they were so cool, especially if you got the ones that were like, remember the best ones where they had the candy cigarettes that were gum. So then they did
Yep.
the powder around the gum and then wrapped it with paper so you could actually puff on the end of it and blow that wad of smoke out. You're like, oh yeah, I'm freaking cool.
I was broke as shit and I was rolling in camel cash from my dad.
I forgot about that stuff.
All those things.
I
Like,
got a new skateboard, but it's got Marlboro written all
Yeah.
over it.
My duffel bag's coming pretty soon.
Dude, there was a Marlboro Atari Lynx. Like that was a thing you
What?
could get. Yes, there's a
Oh my
red Marlboro
gosh.
Atari Lynx.
That's amazing.
Super rare. It's
No.
amazing.
We are not going after kids here. We are strictly just going after adult gamers.
Yeah, like some
Oh.
12-year-old wins it. Like I only had to smoke 40 cartons.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Going to school with your Marlboro bag. Got to do some school shopping. Daddy needs a carton.
Oh, that's pretty great.
Yeah. Dang it, I had another side tangent that I was deeper down the hole and it just slipped my memory.
Oh,
What were we talking about? Camel Joe. Oh, yes. Okay.
wanna
I
see how
discovered
well this
real
ties into
world-
this.
Letterkenny. So I found this YouTube channel called Trap Lines and Inlines. And it's this kid who lives in an off-grid cabin in Canada. He's always on screen with a wad of chew in his mouth about the size of a golf ball. He probably weighs about 90 pounds. And straight Letterkenny talk. He'll be like, yeah, boys, there we are, boys. We're going to fire this thing up. I bet she's going to chooch. I'm like, holy shit, people actually talk like this. You guys gotta watch this. If you followed Letterkenny at all, it is just like real world Letterkenny. Like,
what's the
it's
name of it
unbelievable.
again?
I think it's Trap Lines and Inlines, and his channel logo is like a timber wolf, like little art, like clip art thing.
Oh man, yeah.
It's just comedic gold. I mean, he's a genuinely interesting character too, but yeah, just the stuff that comes out of his mouth, and he's just talking to himself, which is even funnier. It's like him and a dog, and he's just, God, I just want to see him on that show now. It's good stuff. That's a show that needs more seasons too. I'm sure it's delayed because of COVID and everything, but I'm waiting on season 9 and 10, man.
Yeah, it seems like that wouldn't take that much to make. Pretty low
Right.
budget, I would think. But
And don't they only do like 8 episodes a season and they're like 20
Yeah.
minutes long? So seems like it should be coming soon.
Mhm.
Did we get too far off the rabbit hole to like come back to trying to think if we had anything we didn't talk about? What's Control Ultimate?
oh, that was the game control.
Yeah.
Basically said that if you want the free upgrade to the next gen, you have to buy the like
Alan
ultimate,
Wake expansion or what?
the game of the year.
What? That's bullcrap.
Yep. So you have to buy the whole new edition just to get that.
So you could just buy. Why would you buy the new edition and get the free upgrade when you could just buy the next gen port?
Right.
That's some good PR.
Yeah.
Have you played that? Like, that's all I hear from people is like it's one of their favorite games of this year. And I've never really heard anybody talk about it. I don't really know much about it.
No, I haven't played it. I just there was a rumor that it was going to be on Game Pass, so then I held off on it, and it never
Sure.
had come on Game Pass. So
Yeah. I bet it'll get there eventually.
yeah,
What's Forager?
I did play that on Game Pass. That's
Forager?
yeah, it's a really good game, but it's a really bad game because it is Harvest Moon, Stardew Valley type thing.
Okay.
But the thing with Harvest Moon and Stardew Valley is you have to go to bed and sleep at night. It's just the day is done, you go to your house and you go to sleep.
Okay.
This is just 24/7. You're out farming, mining all day long. So there's really no good stopping point to to stop playing the game. So you end up just like, oh, I'm one thing away from upgrading my axe, and I'm one thing away from getting this, and it's just been hours and hours going by without a way to stop playing.
Or just go to bed.
Yeah.
Or shut it off.
That's a problem.
When I can't go to bed in the game, I can't go to bed in real life.
Those are the
Fully
rules.
immersed.
I just wanted to touch on one more thing as I read an article that I think we'll all be pretty excited about today on from Polygon, and they got early access to that demo, and the author was more than happy to report that that is spot on to how that game played, and that it is
That's great.
it is everything he dreamed it would be. So I am freaking ecstatic.
That's out pretty soon, right? A month or so?
Yeah, the beta comes out Saturday. So if you pre-order, you can play that Saturday at the warehouse level. But yeah, it's out September 8th, I think, maybe.
Wow.
And that will be my game of the year, I'm sure. We'll be playing the crap out of that. And they announced more songs. Fucking MXPX got on there. I'm so pumped. So
That's
MXPX
pretty cool.
is going to have Let's Ride on there. They're going to have Less Than Jake. They're going to have the Ataris. They're adding like Machine Gun Kelly and stuff too, but I guess that's
so,
kind
like,
of today's
brand new
punk
stuff,
rock.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even the MXPX stuff is like from, their newest stuff, which I guess they own the rights to that, so of course it would be. You want to make money.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was like a huge expansion to the track list. A lot of good bands on there. Which I think like everything they kind of announced feels right at home with what was already in there, kind of that punk rock and hip hop mix. So should be awesome.
Yeah, that game's gonna be good.
It's gonna be great. Once I can learn to accept the revert. Still a little mad about it, but I'll
You don't
get
have
over
to
it.
do it. You don't have
I
to do
know.
it. I'm sure the points.
I feel like I feel like a high score. I'll have to at some point.
Yeah.
Just cheap out and do it. But yeah, man, yeah. Just hearing that from someone who cares that enough about it that it played like they remembered gets me super excited. It's going to be excellent. We'll have to all get it and do like an online like skate session or something. I'll just school you poor bastards. I don't mean to brag, but I'm pretty good at Tony Hawk.
Are they going to have that stuff in there too? Like
Yeah, I don't know.
the
They're gonna
escape game and all that?
I thought they were keeping the original modes, but maybe some of that won't be in the online. Maybe it'll just be couch co-op, but
Yeah.
who knows? It's exciting either way.
Yep.
Maybe we should pick Nate back up off the floor and have him take us out.
Oh, I'm not on the floor.
No, it was just a joke because he'd been very quiet.
No. Okay. All right, friends. Well, we appreciate you listening to our podcast. 80 episodes in. That's a milestone, right? That's another milestone, I think. That's pretty good. Make sure that you are following us on all of our social media, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all of those things. You can find all things Weekend Rental at weekendpodcast.com. And as always, friends, be kind. Rewind.
Please send Camel Cash.
Let's make a chooch, boys.
Oh, can I use Camel Cash for bananas?
It is the preferred currency of the banner.